Now, a chance we could turn off, please, the slide projector, and let me introduce Mike and Rob. So, Mike and Rob are part of this very, very interesting unit that operates in Whitehall, which is called BDUK, and they've come up today to see this. They are very much the guiding brains behind this project. They were instrumental in getting the project for Cumbria. They're working closely with us and the Cumbria County Council. They're thinking very creatively both about technology, how to actually deliver this stuff, but also about community engagement, how to use the energies in this room to try to make sure we deliver it as quickly and as cheaply as possible, and also about the applications, which is something that we're going to be hearing about immediately after this from two other speakers. But this is an opportunity particularly to allow them just to introduce, and this is very early stages, a bit unfair to them, they're probably at least 6 or 8 weeks off being in a position to give any more formal answers, but a brief informal introduction of these two key players who are going to be working closely with us here in Cumbria over the next couple of years. Over to them.
Hello everybody, my name is Mike Kiley. It's a great privilege to be here, and I guess it's both congratulations and thank you for your enthusiasm. We'll be very much reliant on that enthusiasm to carry this project through, and we'll be reliant on it to also help specify exactly how much of what Barry has outlined can we actually deliver with the money available, and just how far we can push it. I think the expectations of our ministers, and one reason you're a pilot is because this area, people here, is this particularly difficult area to serve. People here are particularly keen to contribute to solve the problem, and I think being a pilot will be really not setting any limits at this point, but seeking to take the inspiration that a lot of folk here are, and beginning to specify the requirements in a procurement process that will lead to competition where suppliers and community groups can work out how we're to deliver the upgrade needed, okay, and expected. So I think that's, I don't have any more to add. I think what has been excellent, nobody's mentioned, apart from Miles, 2 megabits today, and that's a good thing. There are no limits at this point, and we'll just see, I think, as a pilot area, the expectation is to see how far can we get, how much of this we can make real, and then to use this area as an inspiration so that we can move on in the rest of the country and follow suit. Okay? And I'll hand over to Rob.
Hi, I'm Robert Ling. I work with Mike, obviously. I think it's great that we're here. I think it's amazing to see the turnout and some of the discussions. We were in the pub last night with Livy talking about the community plans for this area. Hugely impressive, and we're really keen to keep working with you all to see what we can do. I think from our point of view, it's going to be important to remember that this is a pilot area, and certainly my job from now onwards is going around the rest of the country helping everyone else get into a position that they can bid for the rest of the BDUK money. So I think there just needs to be acceptance from both of us that at times we might not feel that we're moving quick enough for you, and at times you might have to accept that we're not moving quick enough for you. We need to understand how we replicate what's happening here so we can take it to the rest of the country. That may mean that we challenge some of the assumptions and the ideas that you have, but believe me, we really want to deliver the best for this area, and we really want to push the boundaries of what we can achieve, because the more we push the boundaries here, the bigger the challenge for the rest of the country to deliver in this final third. That's probably all I need to say at the moment.
Okay, so a chance for some questions from the people who, as I said, I don't want to be unfair and put them too much on the spot, but they have been involved in getting this amazing contribution of money. I mean, I was assuming 3 months ago that we would all be sitting in this room, but we would be doing it all out of our own pockets. We now have at least some help from the Treasury in trying to install the broadband. Any questions from the visitors from BDUK? Maybe we'll start at the back. Maybe at the back.
Hello, I'm interested in the budgets, obviously. Possible process, who's actually going to assess the bids, criteria, and timescales?
Hi, we're with Marie Fallon from Cumbria County Council yesterday. So it'll be Cumbria County Council will be the, if you wish, the client. I consider myself now an extension of that team, and we'll initially, at least in the next, I think 8 weeks is quite good, because that gives us a chance to come back here at least another couple of times to meet the community and to gather your requirements and vision for what's needed. And that needs to go through a little bit of governance with Cumbria County Council to make sure they've got the resources to run a procurement process. And so at this point, it will be an open procurement process, and it will follow European procurement rules to that end. Okay.
Can I just ask one thing? Does it need matching?
We're expecting matching, and we'll be going after more European funding as well.
She wants maybe community match.
Yeah, we're assuming that you mean community match.
No, I mean general match funding.
At the moment, we chose the areas because they were interesting areas, so they come with a sum of money from BDUK. So we're trying to determine how much money that needs to be. We are looking to match the money ourselves with European money. So we know that North West Development Agency have got ERDF that they've identified for broadband, so we'll be having discussions with them over the next week or so about how we use the BDUK money to match that funding. Then as we go out for procurement, depending on what comes through, we would expect the private sector to invest, certainly. And that can be as wide or small as the private sector is.
Gentleman at the back. Yeah.
We've heard a lot about the ambition in terms of speed. We've heard a lot about the ambition in terms of speed. Could you say something about ambition in terms of universality?
This is a pilot. We want to see what we can achieve. So we want to cover everybody. What that means is what we will determine through the pilot. You know, we've heard the ambition from this area, and we'd like to do the very best to deliver that ambition. And that's the whole point of a pilot. That enables us to learn what we're going to need from the community is to get out there, get people online, get them using the internet, get them using applications, thinking of getting the county council to think of how they might deliver their services online. And the more activity we can get there, the better return on investment, the better the numbers stack up. So it's going to take all of us on a whole number of levels to get involved, and that really is what we're determining at the moment. And that's some of the discussions we had with Libby last night, and that's the discussions we had with Cumbria County Council yesterday. This isn't the case for us of just putting the infrastructure in. It's much, much bigger than that. We've got to make sure that we can get services online and that we can get people using it.
Mike, on universality.
I think the aspiration has to be very high. It can't be the barrier set out a very large vision. This was a year ago. You probably wish to dismiss it in many ways, or dismiss much of it, but not now. It's quite even on, say, some of Miles' slides, you'd like to differ with some of that a year ago or even 6 months ago. But I think if we take the European aspirations, which your MP is becoming more familiar with, then I think for the purposes of the pilot and for the purposes of being proving to our own Secretary of State, Jeremy Hunt and Vasey, their expectation is very, very high of this community and of the pilots themselves to deliver as much as is possible.
Mike, can you tell us what the European standard is?
I mean, the European standard is, can I get my name to that? I mean, it's useful, I think this is. We were sharing this with Marie Fallon yesterday in Cumbria County Council, and she didn't bat an eyelid, which was good. But I think it's an interesting framework. In fact, we don't have to create our own. We can just pick go to the digital agenda for Europe. And it is saying things like basic broadband for all by 2013, fast broadband by 2020, broadband coverage at 30 megabits per second or more for 100% of EU citizens, ultra-fast broadband by 2020, 50% of European households should have subscriptions above 100 megabits per second. I think we don't have to write our own framework, but I would expect as a starter for 10 that would be included in the spec. Now there's a whole bunch of others that Rob will like me to recall on public services and digital inclusion, but I guess there's no reason to aim for less than this in setting up the pilot as we go forward. Okay.
Martin.
Thank you. I'm just wondering how the investment by BT is going to fit in with the pilot scheme. I'm obviously anxious that we don't do things that BT is going to do anyhow. And I know they have big investment, about 2.5 billion, to invest in fibre optic reach out and to get it to most of the country by 2015. I'd like to be reassured that we are working with them as to how they're working with our plans.
Absolutely.
It's critical for the work that we do that we don't duplicate investment that the private sector is going to make. So we are talking to BT, to Virgin, to the mobile companies about the investments that they plan to make over the coming years. Clearly what we're doing at the moment is we're intervening with public money, and that becomes a lovely term of state aid. And within that state aid we need to determine what the private sector is going to do. And Europe doesn't want us to spend money that duplicates in those areas. I've done projects with public sector money in broadband before, and covering the state aid aspect is the first job that we need to do. So we've got people at the moment going through those discussions with BT and with the state aid departments in Europe, covering off those questions. But rest assured, we're not looking to duplicate anything the private sector is going to do.
Can I have a follow-up to that quickly? There was mention at one stage of having some an addendum to people's bills nationally to help finance rollout of fibre optics. That seems to have fallen by the wayside or forgotten about. That isn't a way forward, is it, as a nation as a whole, for those that have to help those that haven't?
Probably a question. I think there was a 50p tax proposed by Labour that was not carried, didn't get beyond the election. I think the arrangement now is there's a certain amount of the, well, I'm not sure if it's relevant to the rollout here, but what 230 million of the underspend has been of the digital switchover money has been made available initially to us, and a decision has been made that almost an equivalent amount, 150p a minute, is extracted from the TV license fund for 150 million a year from 2013 onwards. So it's an equivalent amount annually provided. Okay.
Just concretely on that, I mean, we're looking, I mean, it's not really relevant for us. We're looking at a population here with Penrith and Border of approximately 40,000 households. You'd raise on a 50p tariff £20,000 of that. We've just hopefully achieved up to £10 million. So the scale of what we're hoping to achieve here, and again, to follow on from your BT point, I mean, the work that Mike and Rob are doing is very closely integrated with looking at BT's existing infrastructure, their cabinets, their exchanges, their fibre. But BT themselves, if they were to get involved in a project like this, would expect, for a very remote rural area, some degree of public subsidy. They've achieved that in Cornwall. They in fact put in a bid here in Cumbria for Penrith, the Border and Carlisle, where they again were asking for public subsidy. It's not something that they had cash in their back pocket for, and that they were about to do regardless.
Just ask,
Yeah.
just to get one.